Kentucky with our Wednesday live stream. Before we get going, we're going to do a moment of silence to pray for all our people in the United States down in Florida that are in the way of the storm. So, little moment of silence. All right, thanks. Hope you said a prayer. My dad, my late passed away father, lived down in Daytona Beach. I used to go there every year. They're in the outer part of the storm getting hit also. All right, I got Sticker granddaughter here and show a few things that I just got in. Do a few shout outs here. Shout out to Perry Cox that sent a COA on my signed Christmas record, fan club Christmas record I sold a couple days ago. Going out in the mail last time I can show it. Trivia question is, I'm not going to say what it is, but to the nearest 1,000, what do you think it sold for?
Can I say?
No.
Oh.
No.
I thought it was a guess.
All right. Shout out to my Beatles Mexico buyers who made the deal on that Holy Grail item. Most expensive item I've ever had, probably ever had in my lifetime. All right. Shout out to Gregory. He's sending me a stereo or a West Coast butcher cover that's halfway peeled. I'm going to finish the peel for him, or try to, for a $250 fee. Shout out to Mikey Arugula. He gave me a shout out, gave me congratulations on selling that item. Alex and Wendell that got my shipping boxes and my Remco dolls. They seem to be happy with those. Shout out to Michael Stern. He got a hold of me today. I sent him some money for a couple of albums I sold out at the South Louisville Antique Toy Mall. And his buddy Rick Katner. Those are my shout outs. Gonna clear the table off here. Got these in today. I've never seen these before. Got to be from '64 in England. It says made in England. They're the one just fell off here. Jewelry brooches on a backing card. Rolling Stones. You got a Mick Jagger. You got a Brian Jones. And you got a Charlie Watts. Rolling Stones memorabilia is hard to come by. Wasn't mass produced like the Beatles were. Got another Condition 8 Beatles lunchbox, Aladdin from 1965. It's hardly any wear at all. The rims are pretty good, no dents. And it's got the thermos clip inside, pretty white inside, except where the thermos rubbed up against the side right here. I got a real nice thermos coming in that I'll match with this and put it up for sale next week. This isn't as nice a shape as the one I sold for $3,200, but these are still real tough to find in this condition where they aren't well worn. Can you put that over there on the Rolling Stones box over there?
Yes. Joseph Marantino said, hello, Sticker family. Beautiful way to start the live
Thanks.
stream.
Thanks, Joseph.
Joseph Marantino also said 6,000, because you did ask. You asked them to round to the nearest thousand?
Yeah, what this sold for?
Yeah.
6,000. A lot more than that, Joseph.
Brad Parnell said good
Wait a
evening.
minute. It don't tell me any more figures. Just show it.
There's no more, but that was
all right.
Brad
A lot higher than that, Joseph.
Brad Parnell said good evening. Daniel Castillo said I'll put Tallahassee Lassie on my turntable in honor of the people of Florida.
All right.
Ignore the
Jenna Jameson said sold the item to the cartel.
Ignore it. It's
Oh.
a troll.
That's what my boss said at the store.
Mr. Beatles Pro said hello everyone.
How you doing, Beatles Pro?
If he's getting you money, why do you care what people think?
All right, we got this Shea Stadium memorabilia in. I showed a short on. We got the this lady, Miss Diana. She went on a Beatles tour from Baltimore, Maryland. This is all the literature and the envelope from 1965, August 15th. So listen to her schedule that day. At 8:15 in the morning, she departed in Baltimore, Maryland. And then at 1 o'clock, they ended up in New York and they went to the World's Fair for 6 hours. Then they got the bus to go to Shea Stadium. And at 11:30, the buses left Shea Stadium to go back. And they didn't get back home until 5:30 the next morning. So that's a long trip to see the Beatles at Shea Stadium. But that would have been the one show to go to. August 15th, 1965, 55,000 people. But it's pretty cool here at the end on the bottom. It says, remember, many people may just wish to see the fair and skip the Beatles show. Only $14.75 without the Beatles ticket. It was $22.75 with the Beatles ticket. That included bus fare. So I bet the people that just went to the World's Fair and didn't go to the Beatles show probably regretted that the rest of their lives. So that's all the literature. Your check has been arrived and closed as your World's Fair admission ticket and your ticket for the Beatles concert at Shea Stadium for each person who paid $23.75. So that's pretty cool. This was part of the banner that she held in the audience, Miss Diana, on August 15th, 1965 at Shea Stadium. It says, yeah, yeah. And that is the program that was held at one of the most famous concerts of all time. Speaking about big concerts, my girl Chappell Roan drew the biggest crowd for any festival in recent history there in Austin, Texas on Sunday night. If you look at the video of that, Hula put did a video on it, 55 minutes. You can't even see where the crowd ends. There was, looks like 150,000 people watching Chappell, and there were only 200 people on the other side where the other artist was performing when Chappell was on. So Chappell is a draw. She's number 2 on the charts after Sabrina Carpenter. I still think Chappell's going to make it to number 1. This is a pretty cool poster. Only 50 of these were made in June 4th, 2024 at the Hall, Little Rock, Arkansas. Is that right? AR, Little Rock, Arkansas. So that's a pretty cool takeoff of the Sex Pistols early poster for the early picture sleeve, I think, for God Save the Queen. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you roll that up and put that over there, please?
Joseph Martino said, I figured it was a lot higher. I just tossed out a number.
Well, you take your guess and take it times, multiply it by quite a bit.
Mr. Beatles Pro said, good, you guys.
Let's put it this way. The most expensive item I've ever sold was the Please Please Me, signed at Brian Epstein's record store. It was signed on both sides of the Please Please Me record, which I sold for $25,000, and this was a lot more than that.
Okay. Mr. Beatles Pro said, good, you guys, because I think you asked, how are you?
What's Mr. Beatles Pro's name again? We met.
Good, you guys, like, because I think you asked, how are you?
What's your name again, Beatles Pro? I'm not coming up with it.
Well,
We met in Chicago.
Mom and Papa said, do you have a pressing of James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud?
I have a early cassette of James Brown in the other room, but I don't know if that's on there or not.
Mr. Beatles Pro said, Tom.
Tom. All right, sorry about that. Tom Frank. There's a rumor going on that people are going to start naming their kids our old-fashioned names like Tom, Dick, Frank, James. All the names that we used to be called a long time ago, they're going to start naming those, using those names again.
That's his guess.
46,000. Not that much, but you're in the right ballpark.
And Brad said, lots of festivals draw over 400,000 people. I don't know where that is.
They said it was the largest one this year at a festival, and she drew 110,000 people at Lollapalooza in Chicago a week before we went to the fest for Beatle fans, and this drew more than that.
Where are 400,000 people going to fit?
You're thinking of maybe 400,000 for a whole,
Concert?
you know, the total, but not all at one time. This was all at one time for Chappell Roan.
Oh my gosh, Daniel.
Daniel said, interesting, I heard the name Adolf is making a comeback.
Who's making a comeback?
He's talking about Hitler.
Oh, all right.
It's freaking ridiculous.
Like, what the hell?
Joseph Mantino, 42,000. No, you're still a little high.
Mr. Beatles Pro.
That's all I'm going to say.
Mr. Beatles Pro said, don't surprise me. I think they ran out of all crazy names.
Yeah, they did run out of crazy names. They're going to go back to our old-fashioned names. All right, let's clear the table off. We got this. This was given away at the 1-year anniversary of the Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan. Got these stickers that granddaughter will probably like, and we don't want to give her these matches. This one says Midwest Princess, and this one says Hot to Go. All right, let's clear the table off. Any questions before I start showing some other things?
Brad Parnell said Paul had around 200,000 at Glastonbury.
Yeah, that wasn't this year. That was several years ago.
He said this year. Joseph Mantino said LOL 38K.
You are about right on. You're just a bit over. Your guess isn't good because you're over. And that's all we're going to talk about that. But you did a good job of guessing there, Joseph. To 2006 subscribers. We kind of hung around under 2,000 during the stream, and then the last 48 hours I got like 15 new subscribers. So thanks a lot. We're at the 2,000 mark, 2006. So this last time I'm going to show this. Joseph had about right on what it sold for. The only Christmas fan club record, according to Frank Casio, that was ever signed by all 4 Beatles. George Harrison, real nice Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, all in ballpoint pen, and a real nice John Lennon. That's the flexi disc that goes with it. And that picture is from the TV special they did of the songs of Lennon and McCartney. Here's a trivia question for you. Which actor out there kind of did a reading of A Hard Day's Night lyrics in this TV special? Which actor?
You.
That's a little tough question. You got to know a little bit about the Beatles to know the answer to that. He also showed up at the Let It Be when they were filming the Get Back documentary. That actor showed up. That's the COA from Frank Casio. I read this on a former stream. I'll just read this one here. Frank says, "Hi, buddy. Wow. A great piece and the rarest of the rare. The rarest of rare." That's why it went for so much money. One of a kind.
Joseph Martino said, "That's awesome, thanks." And then Mr. Beatles Pro and Joseph Martino said, "Peter Sellers."
Peter Sellers. You got it, Tom.
Well,
Peter Sellers did a reading of A Hard Day's Night in 1965 and that special, the songs of Lennon and McCartney. When the Beatles were on there, they kind of just did mime to Day Tripper. That's one of my notes I had today. They're playing the demo version of Gimme Love by George Harrison on our 91.9 WFP, what is it, WFPQ? WFBK here in Louisville, 91.9. They're doing the demo version of Gimme Love by George Harrison. And I don't understand why they're releasing these demos of solo Beatle albums, because it just doesn't interest me very much. I love the Beatles anthology where they show how 8 days a week went from a demo to the finished product. And the Beatles, how fast they were able to produce the magic. But in the solo Beatles, like John Lennon and George Harrison, it just doesn't really interest me to hear. I just want to hear the final take of a song, not all the demos. That's my opinion. I know I'll probably get some haters for that. All right, here's the other two big things on the block. My same people that bought my Christmas fan club record are interested in these two items. These are firm prices. They'll probably be gone by Saturday. My Please Please Me first issue in excellent condition with a gold and black. I'm afraid to even touch this thing. Parlophone label that has the Dick James credits instead of Northern Songs. Hardly played condition, and this is the baggie that was put on it in Brian Epstein's off record store in the spring of 1963. The firm price on this is $8,000. And the other item they're interested in is my stereo introducing the Beatles Add Back.
Add back.
I'm going to handle these things any more than I have to. Firm price of this is $4,000. Got it printed in the USA. Stereo, got the ads on the back. No seam splits. Real nice glossy cover, glossy slick. Got the original inner sleeve, which is also the ad backs. And it's got the all important Real rare stereo record with stereo at the 12 o'clock position and Love Me Do and PS Love I Love You on the tracks. I told you this cover was made 6 months before it was released, sat in a storage unit in Chicago for 6 months, 6,000 slicks. And then they had a board meeting when I Want to Hold Your Hand became a hit. They said, we got to get this album out in 2 days and Meet the Beatles. And this was rush release and put out in 2 days after that board meeting. So I want to show you Rachel's Ghost had a little problem figuring this out. On the stereo, you can't see Paul's hand, and on the mono, you can because of the stereo banner at the top. That's
Drop
what
it down. They can't see the top now. There you go.
That's why you can see Paul's arm on the mono, and you can only see his finger on the stereo. So Rachel, if you ever watch this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Shout out to Rachel's Ghost. She got my Remco dolls, Paul and Ringo, and she has it displayed right there on her videos right behind her. So thanks a lot, Rachel.
Joseph Mantino said, no, hey, I understand what you mean.
Talking about the demos.
Oh, demo.
Dan Castillo said, I saw the Please Please Mint mono sell recently for under $5K.
Well, not in the condition that I got.
Mr. Make Believe said most demos are a one-time listen, but one I love is Let It Be from Anthology, where Paul first plays it to the others.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, that's what I'm saying. I like to hear the outtakes on the Beatles anthology when the Beatles were together at a group. That's what I'm trying to stress. I don't think it's that important to hear the demos when they were after they broke up and they were solo Beatles. That's what I'm trying to get to. I just love the way on Beatles anthology where they take a rough track, no matter what it is, and they make it magic within a matter of an hour or two. I don't know if that was all Paul McCartney, if it was George Martin, a combination, but somehow they turned that outtake into a song we've been listening to now for 60 years. Like he said on I Want to Hold Your Hand outtake, Paul says, Ringo, you got to attack at the beginning. Attack those drums. And Ringo did it.
Oh.
And we're forever happy because I Want to Hold Your Hand is one of the best songs of all time. Meet the Beatles. I sold 3 reel-to-reels in the last 2 days. Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, and Abbey Road. The Abbey Road's going out tomorrow. This is 7.5 inches per second. That's probably the last time I'll buy reel-to-reels. These things are over 50 years old, and unless they've been stored in ideal conditions, they're starting to oxidize. So I probably won't buy and sell Beatles reel-to-reels anymore. Time marches on.
Daniel Caselio said Andrew sold it, so it should be in good condition.
Andrew, what?
Sold it.
Oh. Well, mine is in beautiful shape, considering it's one of the first pressings of all time.
Great and good are different words. Joseph Mantino says Strawberry Fields Forever is fantastic and on the anthology for that reason.
The what? Strawberry Fields?
He said Strawberry Fields is fantastic on the anthology for that same reason you're talking about.
How it goes from to the magic, yeah.
And then when it comes to George, I'm all in. I love the demo stuff, especially All Things Must Pass before it got specterized.
Well, I disagree. This is the way I like All Things Must Pass, the first pressing with the Phil Spector production. So I guess we all can agree to disagree. Don't think you can approve. That's why this album sold 3 million or whatever it did. If you ever look at an old Tower record store video, They have these stacked by the hundreds in a display. They were selling them as fast as they could put them out. One thing about Sgt. Pepper, it was on Yahoo News today where Roger Waters and some members of Yes and everything said the first time they heard Sgt. Pepper, it changed their whole way they thought about thinking on music, and they call it the first progressive rock album of all time. The Beatles' Sgt. Pepper said it changed everything in music. What do you think? That's a pretty good compliment if you got Roger Waters saying that, because he was recording at Abbey Road at the same time. Couple songs we heard on the music system today. We heard I Got You Babe by Sonny and Cher. And if you've ever watched the David Bowie 1984 Flower Show video where him and Marianne Faithfull do the duet of I Got You Babe, it's pretty amazing. This is my signed David Bowie album from 1997, signed for the doorman of his hotel where David Bowie was living in New York with his model wife, Eamon. It says Bowie 97. And there's the original patch for Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy Stardust is a gas. Want something else about Ziggy Stardust? I got a Ziggy Stardust album over here somewhere.
Don't forget to give a like. He's working his butt off.
Here's the 1972, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. Who do you think in today's music star that I'm so into was influenced by that title? The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. Everybody's trying to say she's gonna fall, but I think she, in her own way, she's just gonna keep rising to the top. And this is the end of my Chappell Roan moment. I got one of these in the other day. It wasn't signed, and it was a reproduction. The guy must have made 25, 30 copies of this and was selling on eBay, and he got caught. He took a return on it, but this is my original. You could tell it's in focus in a different color. I already sent his back, but I would show you the difference. But there's scammers out there everywhere. This is hand signed. There's only 20 of these were signed in the United States by Kaylee Rose. That's her original first name and her middle name before she came Chappell Roan. You're interested in this? It's only going to go up value as time goes on. She becomes a major star. $2,000.
Mr. Make Believe, despite all the criticism of Phil Spector's work with the Beatles and solo, I love it all.
He loves the Phil Spector production.
Yeah. Mr. Beatles Pro, I just picked up the 50th anniversary ATMP 5 LP box, new for $40.
That's pretty good. That's marked down. It was a lot more than that to begin with. It's probably $200 to begin with.
Thomas Jean said they changed everything February 9th, 1964.
The Beatles changed everything, yeah.
That's what he said.
They were like from another planet. Music from another planet when the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan February 9th.
And then Brad Parnell, I wonder if anyone has an autographed CD cover of Katie Hudson's first album. She had to later change her name after the actress Kate Hudson got popular. You may know her now as Katy Perry.
Katy Perry, I bet that'd be worth money. Katy Perry had an album that went into the top 10 again. So Katy Perry is making a comeback. She was really good at the VMAs. All right, a couple other songs that were played today on the music system. I told you they were playing Chappell Roan. She's finally hit the decade of hits with Hot to Go and Good Luck Babe. But when I was in the store earlier today, they were playing I Saw Her Standing There. And Capitol Records did a super job when they picked that as a B-side of I Want to Hold Your Hand instead of This Boy. That was great for the American market, having two rock songs by the Beatles, A and B, both sides. And we heard Won't Back Down from Tom Petty today. Which two Beatles play on? Here's another trivia question on Tom Petty's Won't Back Down. There are two Beatles on the track.
Daniel said, were the Beatles a crossover success though?
Were they a crossover success?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what he means by that. They were so they were a pretty big success in the United States. They went from like Chappell Roan from here to there in a matter of months. They were selling 60% of all records sold in record stores in the United States for a 3-month period were Beatles, Beatles, Beatles. And there were a lot of other artists that were selling records thought that their career was over with.
Three of them said Ringo and George.
Ringo and George, that is right. Who said that?
Thomas Jean, Mr. Beatles Pro, and Joseph Mentino.
All right, that is the correct answer. On Saturday's live stream, we're going to give away. Mikey Arugula talked me into giving something away every Saturday night. I sold a near mint harmonica box today that I got from Mikey Arugula with the harmonica inside for $244. And this is an empty box. I'm going to give that away and one of these extra Beatle napkins that Mikey Arugula sent me from 1964 with 3 tough questions. Every Saturday night we're going to do some sort of giveaway.
Mr. Beatles Pro said Jim Keltner played drums in the video.
Yeah.
And then Daniel said...
Yeah, but Ringo was on the track.
And then Daniel said, I still think Ray Charles is the most talented artist to put something on record.
The most all-around talented performer ever in rock and roll history has to be Paul McCartney. The most all-around talented. The singer, the musician, the writer. There's like 5 criterias, and Paul's up towards the top on every one of them. That's my opinion. You have your opinion. We talked about the I Want to Hold Your Hand with the great single. They're going to have a 60th anniversary of this record store day where they're going to put this 7-inch out again. I Want to Hold Your Hand with I Saw Her Standing There on the B-side. This is the original 1964 straight cut East Coast picture sleeve.
Daniel said George Harrison said he was thinking about Ray Charles when he wrote something.
Something?
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably wanted him to record it.
John Marino said Ringo wasn't on I Won't Back Down, but he was in the video.
Oh, okay. Thanks for correcting me. So Jim Keltner played the track, but then Ringo was on the video playing the drums. So he was faking Jim Keltner's drums.
And then Thomas...
But Ringo and Jim Keltner used to play in Bangladesh movie. They are playing next to each other, Jim Keltner and Ringo, and it's a double. Both of them are doing almost the same thing.
Thomas Jean said Charles had a country hit. Paul ? So I'm saying Paul didn't have a country hit, but I mean...
He's had a disco hit, he's had ballads, maybe he didn't have a country hit, but I'd say pretty close on Rubber Soul, some of the songs that Paul did.
George, music for all seasons. It's not a matter of opinion. There has to be facts.
Well, look up the facts. Paul has many hit songs that are underrated that we won't even appreciate until he's gone.
And then Daniel says Ray made a country album and proved the critics wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mr. Beatles Pro Sally G made the country charts.
Yeah, see, thanks, Tom, for sticking up for me. Sally G on the country charts.
And then Brian said Paul is the most prolific and versatile recording artist in the history of recorded music. He has composed many albums of symphonic orchestra music, electronic music, movie music, and songs for kids. Sally G wasn't a hit, but it was definitely a country song by Paul.
All right. I got a couple people backing me up. I guess we agree to disagree there, Daniel. All right. A couple other notes I put down. October 8th would have been John Lennon's 84th birthday. Talked about enough about Chappell Roan. I talked about all the hits. All right. So some things I sold. I talked about the fan club Christmas greeting. Ed Rudy. Show me that Ed Rudy on there. Sold this today, going out tomorrow. This is from the Gary Hine estate. Gary and I used to talk for an hour about 5 times late at night, because he would always rack my brain of what I was getting a hold of. And he wanted the best condition stuff that I ever got a hold of. If I got a state of sealed Beatle albums, he was all into it. He bought a lot of Beatle lunch boxes from me. This Gary Hine bought the whole Ed Rudy estate of all these sealed albums. And this is one of the last ones. And I sold this for $299 today. Ed Rudy presents the Great American Tour 1965 Live Beatlemania concert. The weird thing about this, the Beatles performance is drowned out by the Liverpool lads, because they didn't have permission to have the Beatles performing on this interview album. So they're drowned out by a group that's recording over the live concert called the Liverpool Lads. But in between the songs, you hear the girls at Shea Stadium being interviewed. And that's the original shipping box. It's from 1965, 5-cent stamps. I guess it cost 10 cents to send this in 1965. From Ed Rudy.
Mr. Beatles Pro said Sally G made it the number 51 on the country chart.
All right, 51. No, that's not too good, but at least Paul made it 10. I kind of like his disco song, Good Night Tonight. Of course, I like to Miss You by the Rolling Stones, a long 8-minute version also. We were into disco for a little bit there in the end of the 1970s. What else did I sell recently? I talked about all the reel-to-reels I sold. I sold a Revolver reel-to-reel, 7.5 inches per second for $170. I sold that Sgt. Pepper for $222. And Abbey Road, 7.5, went out today for $179. I sold the Abbey Road sealed album from the 78 box set. I got one here. I thought I had an extra Abbey Road. Oh, delay. See the Sgt. Pepper, see the white album. There it is. This sold a sealed 1978 import out of a BC-13. The Capitol Records sealed them in a loose baggie. Sold for $144 today.
Mr. Beatles Pro said everybody did a disco song in the 70s, even Kiss, said Brad Farner.
Even Woo?
Even
Kiss? Yeah, Kiss did it one too. Don't know if I showed this yet. This is, I think I showed it the last one, the 1968 fan club record from the United States. It says Beatles USA Limited. It's a little different than the UK pressing. Back to what I sold. Beatles harmonica, I told you I sold for $244. I sold a Let It Be sealed UK import from the 1970s for $144 today. And I finally sold my Chappell. Her performance at Austin, Texas must have caused this to happen. I sold my Chappell and Olivia Rodrigo signed 8x10. I sold for $199 today. I have a signed 2023 UK cassette that was part of the very first day issue of from Chappell Roan's The Rise of a Midwest Princess in England. I got that coming in a couple days. White LP songbook. There's I'll show that next live stream. I have the original 1968 White Album songbook, and I have the other part that has only the songs from George and Ringo coming in, so I have both cover the whole White Album. I got a 1971 Sticky Fingers coming in the shrink first pressing with the red tongue hype sticker on the back. Today I won a Beatles concert 1964, where it has all the pictures from them at Cincinnati Gardens. WSAI was a radio station in Cincinnati, and I won it for $200. And I got the last fan club letter from the Beatles fan club from 1972, where Frida Kelly signs it, and as a folder, it's pretty good. It's hard to find stuff from the Beatles fan club when they were already broke up. 1972. That was the last time they ever sent anything out from the Beatles fan club. And Rockaway Records put up, they have so many Beatle things, sometimes they sell stuff too cheap. They had original Ringo 1973 promo shirt and original 74 Goodnight Vienna promo t-shirt. They're both medium, maybe I can fit into them. And they had them for $50 each, and I snagged up both of them. But they're original promo t-shirts when the album was first released. Those are my notes. Any questions? I'll start showcasing some more items to round this out.
No questions.
Got this in 2 days ago. I think this is pretty cool. See if I can get it apart. This is one of the hardest bootlegs to get. Called the Get Back Journals, made by Trademark Equality in 1993. It's supposed to have 11. It's got a unique poster in here, and it's got 11 albums that are all on colored vinyl. Get Back, the album that's called. See if there are different colors. Here's a green one. So a lot of these are outtakes that were on the Get Back documentary on Disney Plus last year. There are 11 albums, are all different colors. I'll show you this poster. That's the first time I've ever opened it up. This is supposed to be like the White Album poster, but it has different pictures. Uh-oh, we got a little bit of Yoko there, topless. We better cover that up.
Aww.
What do you think of that? Pretty cool bootleg. The Get Back Journals. If you're interested in that, give me a shout out through my email. One of you need to explain how you get to an underscore. The older people that are my age are having a hard time figuring this out. You got to go on your tablet or your phone. You got to go to where it says symbols, and you can find the underscore. That's what's causing people that can't get a hold of me. Mr. _ STICKERMANIA at yahoo.com. Us old fogies, we don't quite get all the new technology. Where are we at on time?
Do the,
11:45.
did you do the one comment, the last one?
Barry BD said, but the BG started it all. IMO.
The Bee Gees started it all?
Yes.
Huh.
So that's just
The Bee Gees were before the Beatles, correct. But they were definitely not the big start that the Beatles were. February 9th, 1964 on the Ed Sullivan Show, and then the Tour of America, the Washington, D.C. concert on February 11th, 1964. I put up my Beatles button where it's spelled wrong, Beetles, on eBay today, and I sent out offer to the interested buyers, watchers, $888, the most expensive pin back button there is of the Beatles. I don't have that with me right now. You've seen this before, the Beatles, first memorabilia put out by the Beatles are coming. There were millions of these made in late 1963, but not too many of them exist today on the backing like that have never been peeled off. They put these on Meet the Beatle albums, they put it everywhere. So my disco case, this ties in with the 1966 Shea Stadium concert. This is the only disco case, this yellow one, where they put radio station letters on there, WTRY, from, I thought it was, I'm not going to remember now, Maryland, from Maryland. So there's a radio station in Maryland, and it was close to Shea Stadium. So this is the only one that the Charter Industries, New York City, put the radio stations on there. That's the original store tag. They make reproductions on this. You got to be careful you get one that's the original. They make reproductions about anything to do with the Beatles if they can sell it and make money. And it's got the instruction sticker on there. And it even has the insert for the disco case on the inside. Got it all. What did I say the price on that was? $800. I'll take pictures and put that up on eBay tomorrow.
Barry DV said, I was referring to disco. On the yellow disco case, can you feel the Beatles' faces, or is the surface smooth? Thank you.
You can feel the faces.
Let me feel.
Look.
Oh.
Can't you feel them?
Yeah.
That is not smooth. That is the real deal. 1966 NEMS Enterprises Limited on the bottom. Terry Crane knows all about Beatles original memorabilia. I don't see Terry Crane's book right now. All right.
What the hell?
There's my last 3 Paul Remco dolls I have from the 105 I had. Somebody was complaining that the windows had little holes in them. I said, if you find these on the internet where they're perfect windows, they've probably been replaced. But like Mikey Arugula said, the colors of mine, because they were in a shipping box for 60 years, are so much more vivid than the other ones you see out there. This one's got a little P on the top, meaning there's Paul inside there. And all mine have the original 60-year-old rubber bands. They're still attached to the inner tray. So you imagine if you take that doll out of there, that rubber band's it's gonna come off in a hurry. All right, let's pray for the people in Florida. They make it through the night, and I think that's about it from Louisville, Kentucky till the next Wednesday. I have a lot of stuff coming in, hopefully.
Well, Saturday we got live too.
Oh, Saturday, I'm saying that wrong. Till Saturday, which would be October, what, 11th, 12th? 12th. October 12th. Join us in Saturday night. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Sticker Granddaughter. Thanks for all you joining in there. Thanks for you all answering those questions. And we'll do a giveaway on Saturday night.
Have a nice night.
See you later.